Hey, how's it going everyone? Hope your aglets are nice and sturdy because today I've got another one-off quick achievement. On my Gong Like the Wind achievement video, a viewer named Ethan Cobb 4002 asked if I could do the secret achievement on Tag der Toten, and it turns out that I actually recently recorded it for another video that has since been put on the back burner, so we'll do it today. Your video ideas are mutually beneficial because you get to see what you want and I get to figure out what the heck I should make videos on, so go ahead and comment if you want to see any more. So as always with Tag der Toten, I hung out in the spawn room for a couple of rounds getting familiar with some frozen Nazis. Or is this one of those zombies universes where there aren't any Nazis? Anyway, that's not important. Eventually some flaming zombies spawned in and I kept it cool with a few snowballs. I noticed that the characters throw them with their left hands, so does that mean the Victus crew is ambidextrous? Maybe it's time for a 40-minute long lore video about the hand preferences of all zombies characters. On round 3, I made my way over to the lagoon, grabbing the shield piece on my way to the cargo ship that looks a lot like one of the cargo boats I got in a Lego set recently. Though I don't think it was completely necessary, I did the usual Tag der Toten setup process just in case, as well as freezing another exploding zombie to get another part for the dynamite bomb. I went through a round of Swiss cheesing some zombies, finished cranking that soldier boy, slapped myself in the face for that joke, and grabbed the final part for a dynamite bomb. Now it was a matter of building up points, so in the interest of using the footage that I took the time to record, it's opinion time. Tag der Toten isn't a map I'm particularly crazy about, I admit. I don't hate that the last Ether map was played with the Victus, though I do think it'd be a lot more fitting if they were on Alpha Omega instead. Just think about it. There could have been a rematch with the Avogadro and the Mind Screw realizing that they were the ones who sent him to transit to fight them in the first place. I'm not a huge fan of the setup process or the wonder weapons personally. The Tundra gun is pretty good, but at the end of the day, I don't find it too interesting. I'm gonna get around to the gauntlet and main quest at some point, so we'll see how I feel about the map after I do those things. Eventually I talked to a homeless man in the top section of the lighthouse who gave me a zipline handle, which I used to get to the James Bond villain lair. I flipped the power switch, built the riot shield, and bought stamina. I thought that it would help me for the final part of the process for completing the achievement, but in retrospect, I think I was mistaken. I crafted a dynamite bomb on the boat and used it to blow up the rubble blocking the Flingy-Mabob back at the evil Nazi base TM. After doing that, I grabbed the Flingy-Mabob's engine and returned yet again to the hermit in the lighthouse, waiting forever for him to send it back down to me, only to then have to return to the base of doom. Thankfully, with the flinger fixed, I was now able to complete the achievement, but first I wanted to do a few more things. If you're not super knowledgeable about BO4, depending on the location you stand on the flinger at the base, you get sent to 3 different places. The first time you land, you break open a crate that has a part. After collecting all 3 parts at all 3 locations, I crafted a heat pack in the 2nd floor of the lighthouse. Since the water freezes your nuts off, the heat pack would be a great tool for surviving in the cold or extremely long swims. Thankfully, the heat pack doesn't break like a shield, or else I'd be a sad, strange little man indeed. Since I was under the impression that stamina up would affect my swimming speed, I spent a couple of rounds building up points in order to collect all my perks. The stamina up modifier gives you max sprint speed, so I reasoned that it'd also give me max swim speed. I didn't bother with pack-a-punching either of my guns since I wasn't going to be on much of a higher round than I am now. This could have been done quicker with shopping free, any point elixirs, the perk elixirs, and so on, but as I've mentioned in previous videos, I really think it cheapens out on the viewing experience if I just pop 4 extremely busted drinks. But let me know if that's not something you really care about in the comments. On round 12, I purchased Winter's Wail and Dying Wish, but only Dying Wish really mattered. I'm sorry if you get dizzy easily, but this is going to be a necessity. Back at the evil base, I paused, cranked my motion sensitivity up to the max 14, fittingly called insane, stepped on the back left corner if you're facing the lighthouse, and pulled an Anakin Skywalker by spinning like my life depended on it. I made sure to pause while I was in midair to return my sensitivity back to normal, or else I'd probably bonk into a wall and die. This process sends you out of the normal playable area and into a hole in an iceberg where you need to pull a Subnautica below 0 and make a huge swim through an iceberg. Let's talk for a second about the swim. It's over a minute long, I think around a minute and 20 from the time you hit the water until the end. The ice pack ensured that I didn't freeze so fast that I died before having a chance to make it to the end, though I did eventually freeze twice. Dying Wish is almost mandatory as well because you don't have enough air to make it before taking it down. If you want to use elixirs and you have any, talking about regeneration is a godsend because as long as you keep moving, you regenerate health, and I don't think you'll be taking much of an opportunity to pause for underwater photography. Eventually I made it to the end to find Mars, This leaves me with so many questions. Is Tag der Toten on Phobos or Deimos? Or was it just a fun little Easter egg to call back to Shangri-La? Either way, I'm glad I didn't end up on Uranus. You can interact with the boat to return to Tag, but why would you want to leave Mars? Thanks so much for watching this video, and if there are any other achievements you want to see in their own video, let me know in a comment.